yourselves, if you put your hand over your eyes, I open my eyes to see the spiritual truth today.
I open my eyes to see the spiritual truth today.
And over your ears, I open my ears to hear the spiritual truth today.
I open my ears to hear the spiritual truth today.
Now put your hand over your heart and just extend out your arms. I open my heart to receive the spiritual truth today.
I open my heart to receive the spiritual truth today.
The spiritual truth that I'm working with today is that you are as rich as anyone on the planet right now. You are as rich as anyone on this planet right now. Now, there may be some visitors, some people who haven't been coming for a very long time who maybe think I've been hitting the peyote buttons again, or I don't know, something's going on. But truth is truth. And we have to take this notion that you are rich, you are abundant out of the land of make-believe. We have to take it out of affirmation and into actualization. We have to begin to understand that we can wear this idea that we are as rich as anyone else on this planet. This isn't a fairy tale in our lives. See, the fact that you are as rich as Oprah Winfrey, that you are as rich as Bill Gates, that you are as rich as Tom Brady before he pays any of his fines, that you are absolutely as rich as anybody on this planet. It kind of takes a minute to get used to, see? And if you're a person who has everything you want, you absolutely don't want anything else in your life. See, because even if you have all the money in the world is a great thing, but to be rich, you have to have unlimited love. You have to have unlimited compassion. To be rich, you have to have unlimited creativity, unlimited self-confidence. Money is in the mix, to be sure. But to be absolutely a rich person, you need to live in an unlimited universe and understand that you live in an unlimited universe. See, money is a great effect, but it's only an effect. We're going to be doing a series. I'm going to be doing a series on abundance, on living in the land of plenty. Unlimited money, unlimited anything that you can think of in your life. And I'm going to be using this little book called The Abundance Book. It's a little green book, and it's dangerous for me to use this book, and here's why it's dangerous for me to use this book and talk about abundance in a series. Now, I don't know how long. You know, I don't know when my series will end, so it could be 2 or 3 weeks. I just don't know. But I'm going to do a series on this book, and the reason that it's dangerous is this. Because so many of you think that you know it because you've read the book. And it's easy to fall asleep during the sermon. It's easy to say, well, you know what? I know this. If you have all of the money that you ever want, the money to travel to places you've only read about, if you don't want any money to travel to those places, if you don't want any money to share with your family or friends, if you want absolutely no money to buy new toys, there might be a new toy out there that you would like to have. If you absolutely, you're clear, you don't want any money to help us dissolve this debt, you're clear about that, then Gary will be back in a minute and you can go to sleep. You can just take a little nap right now. But if you would like some more in your life, some more money, some more friends, some more compassion, some more creativity, some more of anything, I encourage you to stay with me as we review this work, this book, as we take a deeper dive into it. So I want to read the first principle. He has 10 principles in this book, and we're going to break them down because they're in language that just doesn't absolutely roll off our tongues anymore. The first one is that God is lavish, unfailing abundance, the rich, omnipresent substance of the universe. This all-pervading source of infinite prosperity is individualized as me, as you. It is the reality of who you are. So let's break this down. The first thing is that he said God is lavish. See, we don't really get that. We don't think about that. That whole word lavish can sometimes be off-putting to us because we have this idea that rich people aren't compassionate. They aren't sweet. They aren't nice. They aren't good. So we kind of, ooh, I don't want to be lavish. Yeah, I want to have enough money, but I want to be, we want you to be lavish. Say that with me. I want to be lavish in my life. Now, if it gives you the kind of the, oof, 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 you're in the right place. You're absolutely in the right place. Because here are things. Any lingering thoughts that poverty is godly, that not having enough is more spiritual, is a lie. And we have to get rid of it. We have to bless it and release it. It's just absolutely not true in your life. See, God is lavish in all things. God is lavish in money. God is lavish in compassion. God is lavish in all things. And we get that. You and I think we get this concept that we have a lavish God, that we have an abundant God. And we actually like to come to church and have preachers talk about it. We want preachers to say, there is absolutely all the compassion you could ever want in your life. We want preachers to say, this is how you can forgive and you have all the forgiveness you could ever want. We want preachers to say, this is what creativity is and you can have all the creativity that you want. We don't feel so comfortable when preachers start talking about money. And sometimes that's for good reason because we've been injured by it. We've been injured by churches who have used money in the wrong way or tried to get money from us in the wrong way or, well, whatever. I don't need to talk about them. I just need to talk about myself. We don't do that here. What we want is for you to be wealthy in this life. We want your well-being absolutely from a God that's unfailingly abundant. See, God doesn't fail to give to you, whoever you are and whatever you've done. No matter how much you've messed up with money before, no matter how much you've messed up in your life before, God is ready to bless you right now with all of the money you want. It is here now. It's in the ethers right now, and you can have it in dollars, you can have it in pesos, you can have it in yen, you can have it in a quickening heartbeat as you watch your beloved walk through the door. You can have it in that feeling of, wow, when you look at your PhD on your business card for the very first time. You can have that feeling in, oh, when you sing in the choir for the first time and it just gives you a quickened feeling in your life. See, whatever brings you joy in your life is that feeling of abundance in your life. It's not that feeling of, oh, wow, I did that. That's pretty good. It's that feeling of, I did that and I can do more than that because I live in an abundant universe and I am abundant. See, that source, let's look at the second sentence of what he says. The all-providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as me. It is the reality of me. See, it is not God and you, it's God as you. You are not all of God. I am not all of God. We can't even wrap our heads around what all of God is. But God is all of us. And as we begin to peel that back and understand it, if we understand that God is abundant and God is all of us, then it stands to reason that we too are abundant. See, God is all providing, all providing. See, sometimes we act like God will give us some of it, but not all of it. God doesn't have matching funds. It's not a matching funds God where, you put up so much and God will meet. No. God is all providing. You get all of it in your life. See, but here's what it is. We have to begin to understand that we have to walk as God. We have to start walking as God. We have to stop mincing around. We have to stop using words like I'm poor or I'm on a fixed income or I'm on a limit. There's no limited income. There's no fixed income. Nobody's poor. We're as rich as any other being on this planet. Our work is to get it from affirmation into actualization. And using this book and beginning to work with these principles can begin to help us do it. Second, let's look at the second principle. I lift my mind and heart up to be aware, to understand, and to know that the divine presence I am is the source and substance of my good. Now, I want to be careful with John Randolph Price's words here. You and I, we need to do some lifting up of our minds and our hearts. We need to take our minds off the effect of what's going on in our life. We have to take our minds off of our bank account. We have to take our minds off of our bills. We have to take our minds off of the investment atmosphere that's going on right now, or has gone on, or will go on in the future. We have to take our minds off what college is going to cost when your kids aren't even out of kindergarten yet. See, we have to take our minds off of that. Now, it doesn't mean that we stick our head in the sand and we don't know what our bills are. We want you to know what your bills are. We want you to know all those things. But once you know it, you take your mind off it and you lift your mind up to the source of what is good. And that source is God in our life, our supply. Now, well, how do you do that? See, it sounds easier than said than done. It doesn't mean that when I say we lift our minds up and we take it off our bills and we put it on God, it doesn't mean that we stand in a room and we say God all over and over, God, 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 God. Although that probably wouldn't hurt us. But that's not really what I mean. I mean is, let's look at what God is. Let's look at God, how God shows up. And then let you and I begin to show up in that way. And one of the ways that God shows up is what is called calm expectancy. See, God's not running around wringing God's hands about what's going on at the world of effect. And we need to begin to emulate that. We need to begin to understand that we can lift our minds up and look at some of the characteristics of God, the patient God, the loving God, the God that knows what God knows, the God that has this idea of calm expectancy in our life. Let's say you want more money in your life. And you heard, today's Sunday, and on Friday you heard about a promotion that's going to be available in your department. Now you have two choices. You can create calm expectancy for the weekend and say, I offer a lot to this company. I am a good bet for this company or this department. I am presence of God in action. I have a lot to offer. Or you can do what I do sometimes, which is go to the world of effect and start scheming on how you can get an advantage. And that's called intense manipulation. That's not called calm expectancy. It's called intense manipulation. And when we do that, we've taken our mind, we've unlifted, we've brought it down, lifted back up into what the presence has and is for us, into the solution and off the problem. So once we get calm, because we're connected, now we're going to sort of vibrate ourselves up. We're going to increase our vibration. You get calm, and then you increase your vibration. You increase your vibration by starting to feel in alignment with that which you want. In other words, you act like you have it. Some of us in this room understand what it means to fake it until we make it. Okay? That's what we mean here. First you get calm expectancy, and then you begin to act as if you already have it in your thought and in your deed. Many of you remember me telling the story of one of the greatest abundance teachers ever, Edwene Gaines. Now, Edwene Gaines, when she was a young woman, she wanted to be rich, and she probably had 2 dimes to rub together. She was very poor. She had a daughter to support. She was on welfare. She had no money. She stumbled into a church, and she heard an abundance speaker. And the abundance speaker said what I just said, which is begin to fake it till you make it. Act as if. Now, that doesn't mean you go down and you drive a brand new Lexus and you buy the Lexus. It means you go down and you drive the Lexus and you think about, you leave your wallet at home, your credit card at home, you leave, because those guys are good, you leave everything at home, and you begin to think. So one day she says, you know what, I heard about this, fake it till I make it, act as if, I'm going to try that. She said, you know, what is it that I think a rich person does? And in her mind, a rich person ate stuffed olives and drank wine at a swimming pool. Now, I have no idea, but we all have those kind of things. We think what rich people do. And so she goes down to the Goodwill and she gets herself a bikini. This was many years ago. This was a long time ago. She gets herself a bikini and she goes to Safeway and she gets one of those little bottles of wine and she gets a little jar of stuffed olives. And she realizes that the local hotel has a swimming pool. And if she walks through that lobby like she owns the place, nobody's going to stop her. So she gets in her bikini, she walks through the lobby, she gets in a Chase lounge, she uncorks, well, probably doesn't uncork, she unscrews the little bottle of wine. and then she gets her little olives out, and she lays back and she feels the sun and she feels rich. See, that's what we want you to do. We want you to begin to first in mind and then in activity of your life begin to look and feel that you can wear this abundance that you're asking for. See, so much of the time we ask for this abundance, we affirm this abundance, but we're not willing to wear it. We're willing to hide it, but we're not really willing to wear it. That's not how this works. You have to begin to wear your abundance. Well, Reverend Georgia, that's all nice and good, but I'm really working on being more authentic in my life. And you're always talking about the authentic life. And if I'm faking it till I make it, if I'm acting as if, how can I be authentic? You are a divine incarnation of the presence of God. Start acting like that. That's authentic. That's the authenticity you're looking for. And when we begin to do that, you're not being inauthentic. It's a hallelujah moment when you begin to act like that which you are, which is a perfectly abundant person in this life. You're like a puppy trying to grow into its feet. And now to do that, we have to just keep working and working at it. Well, when we align ourselves, and I want to just talk about this notion of selfishness as we begin this series, because a lot of the reason that we say or we tell ourselves or our subconscious or our history tells us we don't want to be rich is we're concerned about our sisters and brothers, and we should be. We should be. But you will benefit them much stronger from a position of wealth than you will standing next to them in poverty. See, this church, thanks to you, we serve people out on the river, our sisters and brothers who are homeless, several times a week. But when we started this church, we had to first buy chairs for people to sit in. We had to take care of ourselves first. We had to begin to notice. And then we had enough money. We had the chairs. We had a roof over our head. And so we didn't wait until we got rich to help. We started out with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's where we started. And then we were able to get more people and more abundance. And we were able to uplift them to a lasagna meal that we served once a week. Hot lasagna and a salad and French bread and cookies and dessert and milk. They starved for the milk. And we were able to do that because we took care of ourselves first. And then as we got a little more wealthy, we shared right away. We didn't wait. And now I'm happy to say we serve 3 or 4 times a week in this area. But in order to do that, we had to help ourselves first. We had to realize some abundance. I'm so happy that we're able to provide Youth Spirit, which is this fabulous youth retreat to our kids. Why are we able to do that? Because of your generosity. And if you had no money, believe me, you would not be able to give to us at the level that we're asking you to give to support our teens in this life. So this idea of abundance is not a selfish idea. But first, we have to learn how to become abundant in our own life. You know, Brenda and I have been working on, she read an article that said you need to reboot the church every 9 years. Okay, you need to reboot that church every 9 years. You kind of need to change things up. And so she said the article we read, the main thing we had to do in rebooting the church was to make sure every person in the church understood the senior minister's vision. She said, "What's the vision?" I said, "It hasn't changed from day one. The vision remains the same. And that vision is to put the spiritual principles that will uplift us into the hands of as many people as I can get a hold of before I retire. As many people who can get these principles of abundance, of love, of harmony, of joy, of creativity." So that's going to be our work. Our work is going to be make sure that all of us get this. And not only get it, but get it with the foundation of abundance so that we can do it with ease and grace. And you know, I've owned cars that, you know, it was a breath and a prayer if it got me anywhere. And now I drive a car that goes every time almost every time I turn the key. That's easier for me. That's what we want for you. We want all of that and more. You know, we want you to be able to go to Costa Rica with us next time if you didn't go this time. Or I think we're going to Cuba next time. Doesn't that sound like fun? Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, good. All right. So none of that can happen. None of that can happen unless we become familiar with these principles of abundance. So let's take this message into prayer, and I hope to see you next week. Bring your friends who always forget their wallet when you go to lunch with them. Bring those people. Bring everybody. All right, let's take this message into prayer, knowing there's only one power and one presence. It's the power and presence of love. It's the power and presence of joy. And we simply give thanks for that. We just straight up give thanks for the understanding that we are wealthy. We are wealthy. And as we open up to receive that in experience, we do it with calm expectancy, willing to share, willing to put the law of circulation into effect. I give thanks for the Great One for always saying yes to whatever my dreams, whatever my desires. Yes, yes, yes. It's in the ethers right now. I give thanks. I release this word into the law, and together we say, and so it is.